Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures.
Halloween, scuba diving, the British Virgin Islands, dive site, Carrot Rock. Carrot Rock is located south of Peter Island and east of Norman Island. It's a small island just over 3 acres in size. This dive site is relatively unprotected from the east and south. With prevailing winds from the south, although light winds that day, we entered on the east side of Carrot Rock, swimming south into the wind and current, then turning west at the southernmost point. After that, we headed north on the west side of Carrot Rock, making a semicircle around the southernmost point. Since there were no mooring balls at this site, we did it in the form of a drift dive. What I mean by this is that we entered the water from the dinghy and then at the end of the dive used an SMB to signal the boat to come and pick us up. As I mentioned, there wasn't much current to speak of. That's probably because it was just about slack tide. Here you can see this lionfish and the plants floating back and forth in the surge. This video was recorded over the course of a single tank dive. The dive started at approximately 11:30 and lasted over 50 minutes. I recorded a maximum depth of 60 feet and an average depth of 34 feet. My computer recorded a water temperature on average of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature was quite comfortable for me, and I was diving in just trunks and a rash guard. On top of the water, Carrot Rock appears very rugged, and it's hard to believe that anything could live there. However, probably for me the most interesting thing about this dive site was above the water, and that's the fact that the Carrot Rock skink is indigenous to this island. In fact, it's the only place in the world where you can find this particular skink. I didn't see any, and I was unaware of the Carrot Rock skink's existence until I was making this video and doing a little research about the island. I wasn't exactly sure what a skink was. From the picture, it looked like a salamander to me. So I did a little reading. I learned that skinks are lizards. Differentiating characteristics between lizards and skinks include skinks having shorter legs than typical lizards. Most skinks don't have pronounced necks. Short legs and the lack of a pronounced neck make them appear almost snake-like. I still think they look more like salamanders than lizards. Both skinks and salamanders have smooth, shiny scales, which make them look similar in my opinion. However, salamanders are actually amphibians and not lizards. Anyway, back under the water. Here I came across a nurse shark. The visibility was not incredible on this dive site, and I don't think it had anything to do with the site in particular. There was a storm brewing above the water, and quite a bit of silt stirred up. There was a storm forming probably 100 miles from us, but it was quite a large storm, and it would actually later turn into one of the largest hurricanes to hit Florida in a long time. I would say the visibility on this dive site was probably 50 to 70 feet. That's pretty good visibility, but not what I'd expect typically in the British Virgin Islands. Given the time of year and the weather conditions, however, these seem like pretty good conditions. We did see quite a few tarpon, and here are some of them now. I was unable to get close enough to get any really good video or photographs. I was surprised we didn't see any reef sharks on this dive site, given its location and proximity to deeper water. I enjoyed the dive site, and the coral and reef all appeared very healthy. There was an abundance of smaller fish. In addition, I really enjoyed the geological formations here in the British Virgin Islands, especially at this dive site. My curiosity about the geology led me to do a little reading. It's my understanding that the British Virgin Islands were formed largely by volcanic activity. The first eruption started some 100 million years ago on the floor of the ocean. There were lots of these little blue hamlets on the reef. They typically range in size from 3 to 4.5 inches, reaching a maximum size of about 5 inches. Usually found in a depth of about 10 to 40 feet. I also saw quite a few tangs on this dive site, which is not uncommon in the Caribbean. Here are a couple of banded butterfly fish. They typically range in size from 3 to 5 inches and reach a maximum size of about 6 inches. Typically found in a depth from 10 to 60 feet. Here's another view of the geology. You can see this large rock pillar reaching from the depth toward the surface. Here we see more blue hamlets and tangs moving along the reef. Here we see a pair of ringtail surgeonfish. They typically range in size from 6 to 12 inches, reaching a maximum of about 15 inches. Usually found in depths between 15 to 80 feet. I try to post all of my fish pictures on my Facebook page, which is simply StanleyScuba. I've been getting better about putting in the name of the fish, characteristics, and also the name of the dive site and date. At least better about it on the most recent pictures. If you look at some of the older ones, you won't find any information, just the pictures. Here I found a red hind. He wasn't particularly camera shy, and I got quite a few photographs. Those are posted on my Facebook page. They typically range in size from 10 to 15 inches, reaching a maximum size of 2 feet. They're part of the grouper family and are usually found in depths ranging from 10 to 160 feet. I was having a good time with this red hind, and eventually here he turns and stares at me. I guess maybe he was getting annoyed with the flash. I don't know. I sometimes wonder what goes through the fish's mind. Anyway, it made for some great face shots, and some of those he actually looks a little grumpy. I really enjoyed this dive site. I'd be happy to come back and dive it again. The way this dive trip was set up, most of the dive sites were a single dive. I really find it difficult to get a full understanding of the dive site, only diving it once. That's just my personal opinion. I probably could dive the same dive site 4 or 5 times and just start to become comfortable with it. Every dive on the same dive site's a different dive anyway. You see different things, and things come and go, visibility changes, etc.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.